Week 5 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I looked at off the wire this week. The first pitcher, Mitchell Parker of the Washington Nationals. So Parker's come out of nowhere this season, where Josiah Gray went down a few weeks ago, and Parker's come up and he's pitched good baseball in the season. 16 innings, 2-0 record, 14 Ks, a 1.69 ERA, 0.94 whip, and a quality start. So this national team actually off to a pretty good start in terms of what you expected them going into the year at 500 in a tough division in the NL East with the Braves, Phillies, and even the Mets, who've been a decent team as well. So Parker, like I said, he's coming out of nowhere in the early going. I know his last outing was a little bit of a disappointment at the Miami Marlins, one of the worst teams in the league here, but he's still gone out there and he's pitching good baseball. Right now available in 54% of fantasy leagues. April 15th at the Dodgers, 5 innings, got the win. 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 Ks in that one. April 21st versus Houston, 7 innings, got the win. 3 hits, no runs, 8 Ks, a quality start. And April 27th, like I mentioned at Miami, only 4 innings in that one. 6 hits, a run, 2 walks, 2 Ks. So Parker, he's not really a highly touted prospect for this national team, but he's someone that's gone out there and he's pitched good baseball. And you know it's very hard to find decent pitching on the waiver wire. So right now, while he's pitching good, and obviously it could go the other way where the struggles pick up pretty quickly. But right now, like I said, he's doing well for this national team and someone who could bring value to fantasy owners. He's a pickup this week. The next pitcher, Jon Gray of the Texas Rangers. So Jon Gray off to a good start for this Texas Ranger team. In terms of ERA and his strikeout rate is very well, 32 Ks and 24 2/3. 0-1 record, 2.92 ERA, 1.46 whip, and a quality start. So Jon Gray, we know going back to his Colorado Rocky days, he was a former top prospect many years ago in that system. And I know obviously pitching at Coors Field was an issue where that ball carries out. In the Rockies, they just haven't been a good team for many seasons. So Gray right now available in 70% of fantasy leagues. And I think he's a pitcher, obviously on the defending champ Texas Rangers, that can help fantasy owners. And he has a great match coming up tomorrow versus the Nats. April 16th at the Tigers, 6 innings in that one. 3 hits, a run, 3 walks, 7 Ks, a quality start. April 20th, he had a relief appearance at the Braves in that one. 1 2/3 in that ball game. No hits, 4 Ks. And then April 24th versus the Mariners, only 4 2/3 in that one on short rest. 7 hits, a run, a walk, 7 Ks. So Jon Gray, like I said, the strikeout rate is up there. He's got a great offense in the Texas Rangers backing him, and he's got a good matchup versus the Nationals. So surprising, he's out there in a lot of 12, 14 team leagues in 70%. And if you need strikeouts and someone who every time out's can have a decent chance to win with this Ranger offense behind him, he's definitely a good ad this week. The next ad, Clarke Schmidt of the New York Yankees. So Clarke Schmidt, surprising to me, he's still out there as well in 65% of fantasy leagues. Someone just like Jon Gray with a good offense backing him on the year. 25 1/3, 2-0 record, 29 Ks, a 3.55 ERA, 1.46 whip. So the only thing with Schmidt, he don't really go deep into games. No quality starts on the season here. But if he could go 5 innings, a run or 2, and we know this Yankee offense has been a juggernaut this season with a lot of power and putting up a lot of runs, Clarke Schmidt will be solid for fantasy owners, especially more in points leagues than anything, I believe. So the last few outings here for Schmidt, April 13th at the Guardians, 5 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, 5 walks, 7 Ks. April 19th versus the Rays in that one, 5 1/3, no decision. 7 hits, a run, 7 Ks. And April 25th versus Oakland, 5 1/3 in that one, got the win. 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. So like I said, he's a 5 1/3 pitcher is Clarke Schmidt, but he's got a good offense backing him. And he's more valuable in points leagues, I believe, because if you could get that win and pitch a decent ball game where you're only giving up 2 or 3 runs with a couple hits here, I think it's decent for the points leaguer. So right now today, very tough matchup. Obviously at the Baltimore Orioles, one of the best offenses and one of the best teams in all Major League Baseball. But like I said, Clarke Schmidt last season was decent in his rookie year. And so far this year, I think he has value in 10 and 12 team leagues. And he's a good ad this week. The next ad is Lance Lynn of the St. Louis Cardinals. So Lance Lynn in his second stint with the St. Louis Cardinals, and he's been off to a great start this year. His Lance Lynn on the year, 30 2/3, 1-0 record, 29 strikeouts, a 2.60 ERA, and a 1.40 whip with a quality start. So Lance Lynn, we know he's at the latter part of his major league career, but we also know this Cardinal team, they needed pitching bad in the offseason, and they signed Lynn and Sonny Gray to this rotation. So Lynn right now available in 58% of fantasy leagues. And he's gone out there and he's pitched pretty decent for the most part. The last two outings, I know, been middle of the pack, only 5-inning outings, but he's not getting bombed. He's got the ERA down. And I know this Cardinal offense really hasn't been all that good, even though they got some big names still in Arenado and Goldschmidt this season. But Lance Lynn, I think, solid. And this week, April 16th at Oakland, 7 innings, got the win. 5 hits, a run, a walk, a K, a quality start. April 22nd versus the D-backs, 5 innings, no decision. 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 7 Ks. And April 28th, yesterday at the New York Mets, 5 innings, no decision in that one. 5 hits, a run, 3 walks, 3 Ks. So the walks are a little bit concerning. 7 walks in the last 3 games here for Lance Lynn. But like I said, he's still going out there and he's keeping the runs down to a minimum, even though this Cardinal team's not really doing much on offense this season. So right now, Lance Lynn, a points leaguer type of player as well, where he's going to give you some decent points, and he's not giving up a lot of runs, so I would give him an ad this week. Like I said, the Cardinals' offense isn't good, but Lynn is a solid pitcher, I believe, for fantasy owners in 10-team leagues or deeper. The next ad, Keaton Winn of the San Francisco Giants. So Keaton Winn, he's going out there, and he's making the most of his opportunity. Obviously, with injuries in this rotation to Alex Cobb, Robbie Ray, who they traded for, obviously no one coming into the season. He's still recovering from Tommy John, but Keaton Winn's made the best out of his opportunity this season, and he's pitching well. 34 innings, 3-3 record, 28 strikeouts, a 3.30 ERA, a 0.98 WHIP, and 3 quality starts on the season. So this Giant team, they're a middle-of-the-pack type of team. Their offense isn't all that great, where they're going to back you up with run support. But Keaton Winn's going out there, and especially the last 3 outings, he's looked sharp. April 17th at the Marlins, 6 innings, got the win. 4 hits, a run, a walk, 4 Ks, a quality start. April 22nd versus the Mets, 6 innings, got the win in that one. 4 hits, a run, a walk, 6 Ks, a quality start. And April 28th versus the Pirates, 6 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, a walk, 5 Ks, a quality start. So Winn, I know the last 3 outings, it's been favorable matchups, no doubt about it, versus weak hitting offenses for the most part here, but he's taking advantage of it. Like I said, this San Francisco Giant offense isn't great themselves, but Wynn's going 5-6 innings for this San Francisco Giant team, and he's looked pretty good. So right now, while he's pitching good and he's out there in a decent amount of fantasy leagues at 72%, I would give him an ad this week. The next ad, Bryce Elder of the Atlanta Braves. So Bryce Elder, he got called up a couple weeks ago, and he's been pretty decent for the Braves. Last season, double-digit victories. He had his Bryce Elder, and this Brave team we know is one of the best teams in the league, and they're going to back their pitch juggernaut of offense as well with Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley, Marcell Ozuna. So this offense is loaded 1 through 9. You're going to get the run support, and Elder, pretty much, he just has to go out there and go 5-6 innings, a 2-3 run balls on the season so far for Elder. I know he didn't make the club out of spring training, but now he's got a rotation spot with Spencer Strider out for the season. So on the year, 12 innings, 1-0 record, 6 strikeouts, 2.75 ERA, and a 1.30 whip with a quality start on the season. So Elder, he did get added in 37% of fantasy leagues, and this most likely is the last week for owners to go out there and get him, where he's only available right now in 56% of fantasy leagues is Elder. So the first 2 outings of the year for him, April 22nd versus the weak hitting Marlins, 6 2/3 got the win. 8 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, a quality start. And April 28th, in a tougher matchup, this Guardian team's played well this season. 5 1/3, no decision. 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 2 Ks. So Elder, like I said, he's got to go out there just 5-6 innings, 2-3 run ball, and he's going to be in most of the ball games. And the Braves, obviously, like I said, they're one of the best teams in the league once again, and they were on a tear as well, winning 12 out of 15. So right now, Bryce Elder back with Strider out for the season, and last year he was playing great until the second half. So I think Elder can help fantasy owners in a big way once again this season. And like I said, this is possibly the last chance to go out there and get him this week. The next pitcher, Bailey Falter of the Pittsburgh Pirates. So Falter, he's come out of nowhere this season with this Pittsburgh Pirate team. I know he had some flashes with the Phillies a couple years ago, and so far this year, off to a good start. 27 innings, 2-1 record, 18 Ks, a 3.33 ERA, an 0.89 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So he pitches to a lot of contact here, is Bailey Falter. And I know also as well, Paul Skeens, he's ramping up the activity down there in AAA to build the arm strength, because he's their number 1 pick a couple years ago in the MLB draft, and he's going to be a superstar type of pitcher if he stays healthy with his upside is keen. So right now, Falter holding on to a rotation spot. And like I said, he's made the most of it. Available right now in 90% of leagues. April 12th at Philly, 5 innings, got the win. 4 hits, a run, 3 Ks. April 17th at the Mets, 5 innings, got the loss in that one. 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 4 Ks. And April 23rd versus the Brew Crew, 7 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 8 Ks, a quality start. Today, a good matchup at the A's. Even though this A team, they are battling. I know they're 12-17 on the season, but they're starting to show some power. Is Oakland. They're hitting the baseball with a decent rate. And right now, Falter's pitching good. So I think with a favorable matchup, even though the A's have gotten a little bit better over the last couple weeks here, I think he could go out there once again and help fantasy owners as a 2-start starter. And he's available in 90% of fantasy leagues. Next pitcher, John Means, the Baltimore Orioles. So we haven't seen Means in a long time, obviously, for this Baltimore team. Coming off Tommy John surgery. And now we'll see if the lefty could get back in this rotation. Last year, in a small sample size before the injury, 23 2/3, 1-2 record, 10 Ks, a 2.66 ERA, an 0.74 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. It means he was an all-star a few years ago for this Baltimore team. And now one more rehab assignment it's going to be for him. And he's going to be back in the major leagues, most likely by next weekend. Reports are coming out versus Cincinnati Reds. So this Baltimore Oriole team, I know they're going with Suarez right now in the rotation, but I believe Means will take his spot once he gets this next rehab start out of the way here. He's building up the pitch count, pitching 70-80 pitches right now is John Means. And I know the outings haven't been all that great. His last outing, he struck out 5 and 4 1/3, 3 runs in that one, 7 hits and a walk. But like I said, he's coming up to Baltimore. He hasn't pitched in a year and a half almost, but he's got good stuff as John Means, and he's a former All-Star as well. So right now, well, he's coming up, and he's out there in tons of fantasy leagues with possibly good upside, even though he's coming off the serious Tommy John surgery, and it takes a pitcher a year or two to get back to form. I still think John Means is a good ad this week, and he's available in tons of fantasy leagues right now. 84%. Next pitcher is Reed Garrett of the New York Mets. I don't really... Next pitcher I looked at is Reed Garrett of the New York Mets. So middle relievers, 8th inning guys, I never really obviously put on this list and recommend to pick up. But Reed Garrett right now has been a win machine for this New York Met team and one of the better pitchers in fantasy baseball. So more of a categories league type of pitcher he is, Reed Garrett, where he's going to keep the ERA down. He's going to get his strikeouts, and the wins have been big as well for him. So on the season for Garrett, it's been great in the early going, 14 2/3, 5-0 record, a save on the year, 27 strikeouts, an 0.61 ERA on the year, and an 0.94 WHIP. So right now, Reed Garrett, surprisingly, he's only available right now in 59% of fantasy leagues here, and he's getting that middle relief and 8th inning work at times here for this New York Met team. So this Met team, they've been up and down so far in the early going, a 500 team. They've lost 5 out of 7, but Reed Garrett's come in and he's pitched good baseball over the last few outings here. And right now, like I said, he's a pitcher that definitely can help fantasy owners for now. More in category leagues if you want to keep that ERA down, like I mentioned with Reed Garrett, and someone who's getting a little lucky with the victories here. But this Met starting rotation does not go deep into games at all. So the last couple outings, April 20th at the Dodgers, pitched an inning in that one, got the save, 3 strikeouts. April 24th at the Giants, 2 innings, got the win, 2 hits, a run, a walk, 4 Ks. And then April 28th yesterday, 2 innings, got the win in extra innings for the Mets, a hit, 2 walks, 2 Ks. So Garrett, he's one of their most reliable relievers, where he was a guy a couple of years ago just bouncing and being claimed off waivers from Baltimore to the Mets. And now he's got an opportunity with the Mets, and he's one of the mainstays in the bullpen. The only thing is, I don't know if he's going to handle a whole season, where he hasn't had much of a track record in the majors. But right now, if you want to keep the ERA down and get a reliever with upside, Garrett is a good ad this week. Final pitcher I looked at off the wire is Slade Cecconi of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So Cecconi, he came up, and he's been pitching good baseball in the 2 outings we've seen him so far this year. On the year, 12 innings, 1-1 record, 11 Ks, a 2.25 ERA, 0.50 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So last season, he only pitched 27 innings in the major leagues, but now he's getting a little bit of a look, Cecconi, and he's pitching good in the early going for this Diamondback team. Available right now in 96% of fantasy leagues. If he could keep a rotation spot with the defending National League champions here, I think he could be a decent ad and a sleeper as well over the next couple weeks. With Merrill Kelly banged up and on the injured list, the rotation spot is open, and he's made the most of it. April 21st at the Giants, 6 innings, got the win. 2 hits, 2 runs in that one, 3 Ks, a quality start. And April 27th at the Mariners, tough luck losers, 6 innings, got the loss, 3 hits, a run, a walk, 8 Ks, a quality start to Sassoni, 2 outings. He's looked good so far. And like I said, deeper leagues, more of an ad, but even 12-team leagues, I think I would go out there and get him with all the injuries and just inconsistencies at the pitching position. So that's a few pitchers I looked at off the wire for Week 5 of the fantasy baseball season.